In today's session, I'd like to talk about compassion, generosity, karma, and the way of the Bodhisattva. Compassion is a fundamental aspect of both the Buddha's teachings and Zen philosophy. And they embody the ideals of kindness, empathy, and selflessness. And this is an integral part of the path to enlightenment, as well as a means of fostering positive relationships with others and creating a harmonious world. In Buddhism, compassion is viewed as one of the Four Noble Truths and is seen as an essential component in the Eightfold Path. It is considered to be a virtuous state of mind, characterized by a deep understanding of the suffering of others and a desire to help alleviate that suffering. Compassion is seen as a key factor in overcoming ignorance and developing wisdom, as well as a means of promoting peace, happiness, and well-being. Well, Zen philosophy is a branch of Buddhism. As a branch of Buddhism, also places a strong emphasis on compassion. Zen teaches us that true compassion is not based on feelings of pity or sympathy, but on an awareness of the interconnectedness of all beings. An awareness, or this awareness, leads to a recognition that one's own suffering is inextricably linked to the suffering of others. And that it is only through alleviating the suffering of others that we can achieve true liberation of suffering also for ourselves. Compassion in Buddhism and Zen is not limited to the realm of thoughts and emotions, but it is seen as a practical and active principle that must be embodied in one's own actions. This is why many Buddhists and Zen practitioners engage in various forms of service and altruistic behaviour, such as volunteering, donating to charity, caring for the sick or elderly, etc. However, practicing compassion can be challenging. It requires a level of selflessness and detachment that can be difficult to attain, especially in the face of negative emotions such as anger, jealousy, or greed. It also requires a deep understanding of the nature of suffering and its causes, which can be a difficult and ongoing process. Therefore, compassion is a central aspect of the Buddhist teachings and of Zen philosophy. And it is seen as a means of alleviating suffering, promoting wisdom, and fostering positive relationships. It's not limited to thoughts and emotions, but it is embodied in one's own actions and requires a level of selflessness and attachment that can be challenging to attain. Nevertheless, through diligent practice and a commitment to the path of compassion, one can cultivate this virtue and experience its many, many benefits. Generosity. Generosity as a core value and practice is deeply rooted in the teachings, deeply rooted in the philosophy. The philosophical framework emphasizes that living a generous life is a key to achieving inner peace, contentment, and enlightened understanding, or enlightened awareness. And this teaches us that all beings are interdependent, and that everything, everyone, experiences this as a result of past actions, known as karma. Through generosity, one can create positive karma, and thus contribute to not only their own future happiness and well-being, but also to the well-being and happiness of others. This is expressed in the Buddhist concept of dana, which relates to the selfless giving or offerings made without expectation of reward. Moreover, the teachings advocate for an attitude of non-attachment to material possessions, and a willingness to share one's resources, time, and love with others. This mindset helps one break free from the cycle of craving and desire, which can lead to suffering and discontentment and dissatisfaction in life. The practice of generosity is seen as a path to liberation and a way of cultivating compassion, kindness, and wisdom. In Zen, generosity is viewed as an essential aspect of living a meaningful and fulfilling life. With the focus on mindfulness and being present in the moment. This is tied to the practice of generosity, as it requires one to be fully engaged and attentive to the needs of others. Additionally, Zen emphasizes the importance of non-judgment and non-attachment. And through acts of generosity, one can cultivate these qualities within themselves. So in the teachings of both general Buddhism and Zen, they stress the significance of generosity in promoting inner peace, contentment, and spiritual growth. And this is done by giving without expecting or expectation of reward. By doing this, one can create a positive karma, cultivate compassion and kindness, and break free of this cycle of craving and desire. A complete change in the mindset. Through the acts of generosity, one can live a life filled with meaning, purpose, and enlightened awareness. So, karma. Karma is also a central concept in Buddhism and in the Buddhist belief and practice, reflecting the idea that every action and intention we have has a corresponding effect, shaping our future experiences, therefore shaping our lives. In Buddhism, compassion and generosity are key aspects to the path to enlightenment, which can positively impact on our karma and lead to a more fulfilling life and peaceful existence. So, the interconnection. Compassion in Buddhism is defined as a deep awareness of the suffering of others and a desire to alleviate that suffering through active involvement. This can manifest as acts of kindness, volunteering, or simply offering a supportive ear to those in need. Compassionate actions create positive karma, helping to shape our future experiences and bring about happiness and peace to both ourselves and others. Now, generosity. Generosity, similarly, is seen as a powerful force for creating positive karma. This can mean giving to others in need, donating to charity, or simply being a kind and open-hearted in our intentions with others. It can be as simple as that. Simply being there and listening when people are talking to us. And by offering our resources, our skills, and our time to others, we can create positive connections and foster a sense of interdependence and well-being in the world. In both compassion and generosity, there is an emphasis on letting go of our attachment to mere possessions and focusing on what truly matters in life. The well-being of others. By acting selflessly, we cultivate inner peace and happiness, which in turn helps to shape our future experiences in positive ways. However, it's important to note that in Buddhism, the effects of karma are not always immediate or easily observable. Sometimes the effects of our actions may not be seen for many lifetimes, as they shape the fabric of our existence in such subtle and profound ways. Nonetheless, the practice of compassion and generosity helps to cultivate a positive mindset and creates an ongoing cycle of positivity and well-being, shaping our karma and our lives in the future in meaningful ways. So therefore, compassion and generosity are key aspects of the Buddhist path, shaping our karma and positively impacting our experiences in life. By acting selflessly and focusing on the well-being of others, we cultivate inner peace and happiness, helping to shape our future experiences in positive and meaningful ways. So let's talk about the Bodhisattva. The Bodhisattva. Buddhism is a spiritual tradition which originated in ancient India, okay, and is based on the teachings of the Buddha, or the Enlightened One. One of the central teachings of the Buddha is the concept of the Bodhisattva, an individual who seeks to attain enlightenment not only for their own sake, but also for the benefit of all sentient beings. The concept of the Bodhisattva is rooted in the Buddhist teachings of, once again, the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. The Four Noble Truths state that suffering exists and arises from ignorance and craving, and that it can be overcome. And that the Eightfold Path is the way to overcome it. The Eightfold Path simply consists of having the right understanding in life, having the right intentions in life, having the right speech in life, having the right actions in life, having the right livelihood in life, making the right efforts in life, having the right mindfulness and the right concentration. The Bodhisattva is someone who has embarked on this path with the intention of not only freeing themselves from suffering, but also helping others to do the same. The way of the Bodhisattva is characterized by several key practices. The first is the practice of altruism. for the development of selfless concern for the well-being of others. And remember, when I talk about others, I'm just not talking about human others. So this involves cultivating a compassionate and empathetic attitude towards all living beings, and actively working to alleviate the suffering of others. The second key practice is the cultivation of wisdom, which involves gaining insight into the nature of reality and the workings of the mind. This involves study, meditation, and reflection, as well as the cultivation of virtues such as ethical conduct, concentration, and wisdom. It also includes the development of the 6 virtues: generosity, ethical conduct, patience, diligence, meditation, and wisdom. The practice of these virtues is considered to be essential for the development of the mind and the cultivation of compassion and wisdom. The final key practice is the practice of the 4 immeasurable minds, which involves cultivating the qualities of loving kindness, compassion, empathetic joy, and equanimity towards all beings. So, therefore, the way of the Bodhisattva is a path of selflessness and compassion, characterized by the practices of altruism, wisdom, the 6 perfections, and the 4 immeasurable minds. It is a path that requires effort and dedication, but also offers great rewards in terms of inner peace and a deep understanding of the nature of reality. By following this path, the Bodhisattva strives to bring about a world free from suffering and to help all beings attain enlightened awareness, enlightened understanding. Buddhism teaches that all beings have the potential to attain enlightenment and to become a Buddha. The Buddhist path to enlightenment is through the practice of the 4 Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path. The ideal person who embodies these teachings is known as a Bodhisattva, one who strives for enlightenment not just for themselves, but for all beings. So, let's talk about the interconnection and interrelationship. Compassion is an essential aspect of the Bodhisattva's path and is considered the foundation of the spiritual journey. A Bodhisattva cultivates compassion for all beings, recognizing that all beings want happiness and all beings want to avoid discontentment, dissatisfaction, and suffering in their lives. This understanding leads the Bodhisattva to develop a deep empathy and a desire to help others. Generosity is another important aspect of the Bodhisattva's path. A Bodhisattva practices generosity by giving freely of their time, their resources, and giving of their love to others. This generosity stems from the realization that all beings are interdependent and that their own happiness is intimately connected to the happiness of others. The Bodhisattva's generosity also helps to cultivate a sense of detachment from material possessions and to help with a reduction in greed and craving. Karma refers to the law of cause and effect. According to the law of karma, every action, whether good or bad, has consequences. Every action has a reaction. Every cause has a consequence. A Bodhisattva strives to act in ways that will lead to positive consequences, not only just for themselves, but also for others. This includes avoiding harmful actions and performing acts of kindness, compassion, and generosity. By following the path of the Bodhisattva and cultivating positive karma, one can ultimately lead to a state of enlightenment. Therefore, the interconnection, the interrelation of compassion, generosity, karma, and the way of the Bodhisattva are essential to the path towards enlightened awareness, emotional contentment, and the attainment of Buddhahood. A Bodhisattva strives to cultivate compassion and generosity as a way of helping others and also reduce their own suffering. By following the path of positive karma, a Bodhisattva can ultimately lead to a state of enlightenment, benefiting not just themselves, but all other living beings. Thank you for listening today.